Hey guys, good morning. Good morning. Look at this. Got some wild hair. Well, listen, you guys. I like these little 3 or 4 5 minute little segue or segments. I want to keep them up. You know, it's a whole new day, and I thought that we could just do a quick kind of like a run through of how things are. We went through we went through the code. Which probably should be what we talk about next. Is that there is a number system. The number system works from 1 through 9. And the way that is that most of the things with number one, you get this the initiative, the beginning of the story. It's usually a beginning. This number one is generally talking about like the pharaoh or the king. It's set up in a way that this actually becomes, the initiator, and it tells us what's going on in the story. Like that first paragraph, most of the time, in some stories, will allude to everything that's going on in the rest of the story, or let rest of the, whatever's going on. But anyway, everything's kind of brought up within the first couple of paragraphs. All right. So, anyways, that's going to be one. One's going to represent the beginning, in the beginning, the beginning. Then two represents God's creation, and this is usually where we get this idea of the Adam and Eve thing, whereas we get the physical side of things and we get a spiritual side to things. And then in His image we are made, which is representing the right and left sides of our brain. At least that's the way most of it starts out that way. But we find that, even though we, have the spot for this lady, this female energy, that that it's lacking this part. All right. So we know this, but anyways. But when that's the whole point, is joining those two together, does it bring about God? And of course, that's number three. Number three is a combination of one and His creation. So whenever you can get all three of those together, then you got mom and dad and you going on. All right, that's the three. And then number four is sometimes what it takes to get there. Four represents the works. All right, and that works is also represented as the chakra system and how you get there. So you get a lot of in this place, on number four, you get traveling, you get people going, taking like 40 days, or when you hear the words 40 or anything that has four in it, it's going to be representing that four. It's going to be representing the worlds. And look at it closely. So a lot of times they'll have some mention of four different things on that line, and you would put those in order as the west, north, south, and the east, because you're generally going from not having God, which is a Western thought, to having God, which is an Eastern thought. Okay, so anyways, that's the number four. Number four is going to be representing works, and those works also will have a mention of most of the time her. There is the situation of there's the what do they call that? The tree of life is in this position, in this place, because it has to do with this business, planting gardens and things like that. This is where well, it's a system of travel. So that's four. It's really easy. I've done lots of stories on this. Five is representing the body. That's what's lower. That's the south part of things. South other than north. God up in here. That's the idea of anything above the neck is above, and what's below the neck is below. It's the waters below that gathered together to make the dry land. So this is the idea that the dry land is the body, the physical side of us. All right. Lots of things show up in here. It's a vessel, so you don't have to stretch your imagination, but look at yourself as this is the brethren, all the people are in here. This is your brothers and sisters and everybody and everything is in there. We're a vessel. We are containing all this stuff. This is what it means to be begotten. All these things are begotten, not made, right? And so this would be the body itself. It's also the congregation. It's all the people. It's meant to be the nations. It's the David, son of David. This is David. The body is the body. It's the David thing. So, anyways, this is also it's the sacrifice. It's the lamb. It's all of these things, because it's all about you. The whole story is getting caboodles about you. So that's 5. 6 becomes the works. It really does. This one here becomes the 6 chakras. Okay, number 6 is the works. And generally, most people on earth can only get to that 6th chakra and are not allowed over onto the Lord's day. So that's why 6 is all by itself. Now it's this little box. It's this little room. It's this place that's right there beside the ocean or stream or something like that. This is the land. It's right at the edge of the beach, right there, right between there and the water or wall or something like that. This is generally where the watchtower is. This is 6. It's about meditation. This whole idea of the 6 chakras coming up. This again becomes towards the lines of snakes come into line, or more the what do you call them? The churches, the 7 churches. All these things come in here. The more mentions of her because it's a female energy, and it's also, you'll see a lot of trumping going on during this time too, because this has to do with the works, and the works means a religious thing. So very religious things will show up in this number 6, being whether you're being elevated or you're being left behind. Okay, but that's what 6 is. 7 is the Lord's day. It either means freedom or captivity, because when you run around without God in us, we never reach the 7th part. We never get past the vine was cut at this particular point. No one's allowed over on the 7th side unless you're granted some kind of right, But then when you do go over on that side, this is the Lord's day, and it's usually dark before this day. All right. Now this means it's dark from the 1st to the 6th hour because we're in meditation, and it means that we just don't ever really, we're not a part of this thing. We're in meditation, so this is our child, our spirit is up here. This represents theta frequency, and this is that spot where, with God becomes the 7th. So this is fire. This is the 4th state of consciousness, and this is where we meet Mom. All right, this is the whole point of the whole thing, and at this particular point, you're being judged. This is when the guy is standing before God, and he's telling him all the things that you've done with him, and his mercy becomes something wonderful and sweet. And this is where a lot of people are afraid, the Lord's day, it's the end times. Oh, God, crazy shit, is going to happen. But that's what you do. That's what you think when you're a child. That's what you think when you're dumb, when you only are half-brained. That's the way you think. But now you got both things going, You're in this place here, you're just meeting up with Mom. The whole world's looking beautiful and bright. The light's starting to shine, and you just don't think like that anymore. This end of times is a beautiful situation. Okay, so this is number 7. Okay, rapture. That's what that is. That's the idea, and it all happens one time. Coming home to Dad. All right. Oh, coming home. Just coming home. Bringing yourself together. That's number 7. Number 8. Number 8 is 8 is a control situation, and right now there's a control. There is something blocking us from ever going over onto the 7th into the Lord's day. So there's something that is blocking us from going on this other side, whether it be our stupid sense of knowledge about God, that we don't even know anything about, Mother, that we don't realize that what it means to honor Mother and Father. We don't know these 2 different things. We only know one of these things, So you'll find that whenever you do go up there, there becomes this situation that there's never going to come about again. You never have to go up there and claim yourself ever again. This is one time going on, and this brings you alive in God, this number 8. And he kind of like, stamps his mark of approval on you, and you get to live forever and ever and ever, and brings you out from being the death. Otherwise, you're still serving the lower mind. You don't know what circumcision really means. And so that's a control over you. When you go inside, you get control back. So, there's an outside and an inside. And 8 represents that. 9 is consciousness. 9 is, are you a good guy? And you represented God, and you've tossed your net over to the right side of the boat, well, then you are cooking with God. And that is a high 9. That is a high 9 that's representing 144,000. That's what the number is in the book. It's a high 9. So the other side of this 9 is a low 9, which is 666. Are you serving Satan? Or are you serving God? Are you running around with Father, or are you running around with Mama and Daddy? That's the only difference. Are you following just Dad? Or do you got Mom and Dad on your side? That's the big difference there. All right. Well, anyways, that's the number system. And as you go through the book, even what the name of the chapter title is going to be, like chapter 2 to 9, and then you get 10, 11, 12. Just 1, 2, 3, you just have to start all over again. And every one of those chapters is going to follow something like that as well. And for those worlds, now a lot of times these worlds show up in the stories. There's like 33 different scriptures, within a chapter. Well, starting off with the first 4 to the next 4 to the next 4 to the next 4. They go through their own little trial and errors and stuff like that. But each one of those worlds, as you count them along the way from start to finish, it's going to represent this code as well. It's just the coolest stuff on earth, you guys. Have a little fun. Just go and read all the 5s, or go and read all the 3s, the intervention. They'll tell you whether or not something good or is bad going on. All right. So anyways, try that out. Look it up. It's the coolest things on earth. And that little key, that code, is the best thing on earth. And learning to read our Bibles correctly. All right. And gain some of this understanding. It's pretty neat. All right. I'll see you later. Happy day.